Hey, everybody. Welcome to The Experience, live with Russ and Scott.
Welcome to The Experience, live with Russ and Scott.
Join us every Wednesday at 7 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. Special thank you to our sponsors, the Gillette Home team of Keller Williams Midwillamette. For all your real estate needs, go to teamgillette.com. And for more information on Summit Cleaning and Restoration and their cleaning and restoration services, go to summitclean.com. And for more information on the Aging Better Network and Christine Smith, go to agingbetternetwork.com. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to The Experience, live with Russ and Scott. Here we are. Woohoo! It's Wednesday. How you doing, Scott?
Yeah, I'm doing good. It was funny. Last week, I was going to do Amazon Live with Melanie Dodaro and her book, which is on LinkedIn. And it's an updated version. She's a great author, deep knowledge. So I was excited. But you're going to do live video and you want to reboot the computer to make sure everything's clean and ready to go. And I did. And Windows did some sort of an update. And the Logitech camera, when it's plugged in, disables all audio on the computer.
Oh my goodness!
Anything you have plugged in is as if there was no sound card in the machine, and so I had to use my phone for the audio, which was terrible. And but the camera worked, but the audio didn't work. So I worked and struggled and read all kinds of articles everywhere, but I ended up having to get a new camera. I can't use a Logitech camera now with Windows 11 for some reason. And so I got a new camera. And so I spent hours trying to get it to work because the Elgato face cam is a good camera, but the software that runs it is a little wonky, and I had to uninstall, anyway, back and forth, but it's working, so I'm happy. So anyway, new camera today.
I'm glad that it's working and it's all good. And you know what? After you get done, I've got a great one for you. Don't forget, you should do an Amazon Live on Rattled Awake. There you go.
Absolutely, yeah. And in fact, that's volume 1, and volume 2, I believe, is now out.
It is out
with some another set of great authors.
That's right.
And so this series is continuing because, Russ, this book became an international bestseller. Volume
overnight.
1.
That's right. And number 1 on his category in Amazon, which is great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So congratulations on that. Hey, I just want to say I am here in my office. I was supposed to be in Arizona today.
I know what happened to
traveling,
that?
and I was going to be down and to the LinkedIn Live event with Mary Fane Brandt and Bruce Carnahan. But my wife has she's from the Bay Area. That's where her family is from. Her mom was born down in Berkeley, and she has 2 aunts down there. One of them is very sick with cancer. Another one just got moved into independent living home. And so we decided that before the winter weather came, we were going to drive down to the Bay Area, which is about an 8-hour drive from us. And so we took off, and instead of going to Arizona, we went to visit family, and it was a wonderful time and absolutely the right decision. I miss Bruce and Mary, but family, you got to spend time with family.
You do. Absolutely. That was a great decision. And you got to do what you got to do. And you and I both are going to get down to one of those events soon, so that'll be fun. But so we have a busy week ahead, but we're going to jump into today's show because we have a lot that we want
There's a
to
ton. There's a
get
ton.
rolling. Yeah. So we're going to start. We have Bonnie and Bobby G on today, which, oh my goodness, love these two. Both had them both on Marketing with Russ. Have known Bonnie for years, and Bobby G became an instant best-selling friend overnight. He was awesome. So
Yeah,
anyway, we're going to get Bonnie in the room. Let's get this thing started. Here we
let's do
go.
it.
Woo!
Hello,
Good
Bonnie.
morning.
It is so good to see you. That smile just lights up my morning. Thank you.
Well, like I told you, I brushed my teeth this morning. I'm ready to go. Scott, I love that story. My friend, you're living your priority. So, sometimes we just wish we could be 2 or 3 places at the same time, but look at you. You're living the priority. So
Well, thank
that's
you.
always the right decision.
Yeah. No, I agree 100%. And Bonnie, listen, you are speaking about living priorities and doing amazing things. Give everybody a snapshot. Who is Bonnie? What are you up to?
Oh my goodness. Okay, well, let me get some fuel. Okay, now I can see you. Yay! Okay, it is Russ and Scott. Bonnie Miletto. Basically, I help people break down barriers, try to work with those limiting thoughts, get them out of their mind to find that joy in life. I do that through being event host or emceeing, motivational speaking, and most recently, I'm so excited about my second book going into its second edition, and that has been there from Stuck to Unstoppable. The youth program that I wrote with facilitators curriculum has been picked up by the Kroc Center in Salem, Oregon, and added to their teen programming. So I'm so excited about that. The next edition has been edited to relate to people like me who for years have stood in her own way. I look back on my own life and how my life experiences, how it affected my thinking. Growing up in that world of foster care can kind of mess up your mind and lead to the development of skills for one purpose: survive. So, along with not taking responsibility for what was happening in my life, the two most notable skills I became good at soon paved the way for the labels that would follow. In school, Russ and Scott, I was labeled at risk and special needs because at that time I made little eye contact or I seldom spoke. Look at me now. What the teachers and advisors did not know at that time was that I was not at risk. I was seriously at ready to grow,
Mm,
at ready to learn, at ready for someone to notice me. So in my young adult life, I reached a point where I knew I wasn't happy and change needed to be made. So I worked and I'm still working on removing those thoughts of feeling worthless,
mhm,
hopeless, and reliving all of those messages I heard repeatedly of "you never will." And so I went back. I would come off stage from these wonderful speaking events, and you know how you get the little whispers, the God whispers, the little knowing. Go back to what you know, Bonnie, that's actually
mhm,
going to help people break down those limiting thoughts and barriers that prevent them from living their potential and finding true joy in life. So, the second edition will be coming out about a month from now, and it will be applicable to the young, the youth, to the young at heart like me, who still might need some very easy steps to remember how amazing how unique and how special they are. And we all have special gifts,
Oh yeah.
regardless of where
Yeah.
we come from.
Yeah.
So
I was just
that's
thinking of
me.
those gifts, and that sounds like the perfect gift because it's going to come out right around the time that people are doing their shopping. And also, we start thinking about planning for the new year, 2024. Sounds like this book is going to be the perfect combination.
And
And
another great one
Scott,
on Amazon Live, Scott.
I love that you say that because I am in the process of going, tying up loose ends, being with wonderful folks like you and my friend Bobby that I can't wait for you to bring on. I hadn't even thought that far ahead, but you're right. It is the perfect gift
Hmm.
for those in your life that just might need that little encouragement, and or for people like me, we're human, and
Yeah.
sometimes those limiting thoughts come in, and anymore I just say, okay, not today. That served me well then,
Hmm.
with excuses.
Right.
And what I know now is what I say to myself and others. You either start committing to your dreams or you stay committed to those excuses. And I could out excuse the best of them. Not anymore.
You you are such a bundle of joy, Bonnie, and I love that. And speaking of Bobby G, we're going to get him in the room, add him to the party. There he is,
Oh
Mr.
boy,
Bobby G. How's it
hey
going?
guys,
How you doing, sir?
I'm doing wonderful, my friend. And Bonnie, you're so correct on living to the future, not living in the past. And you know,
Hmm.
I totally commit myself to. I've been doing a lot of research recently on improving my health, a lot better on my health. And you know what's the main part of that? And I found is your gut. Your gut controls almost every part of your body. And you know what? If you clear up your gut, you're going to have a much healthier body, a much brighter outlook on life. And it's the same thing with your head. And instead, your head gets what's called clouds. And you got to blow
Mm.
those clouds out of your head and live each day because you know what? I mean, you gotta get rid of anything that's negative in your life, and you got to just be on the side of positivity. You know, be with people that want to fly with the eagles, not fly around with pigeons. And that's what I'm trying to do with my life right now. Really change
Right.
my life. And Scott, Dr. Scott, what you said is so important. We recently experienced a loss in our family, and after the funeral, my wife and I have committed to Friday nights at the house, and we
Mm.
call it family night. I go, remember back in the day when we were all kids, we all got together in the basements or in the backyards, and we had a lot of good fun. And everybody
Mhm.
would come and I'd say, listen, you don't have to bring over any fancy stuff. Just be here. One night we'll make a pizza. One night we'll get tacos. One night we'll make dog. And you know what? We get together as a family because before you know it, these people start disappearing out of our lives. And there's nothing better than really good quality friends and family in your life because you don't need, like I said, get rid of those clouds. Dump the people that are negative in your life. You'll live a healthier life. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you are so true. That is so true. Well, listen, hey, before we get too far ahead of ourselves, Bobby G, who are
Yes,
you? What are you up to?
Well, my name's Bob Gay or Robert, but I get called Bobby G a lot. I got to know this beautiful lady Bonnie many years ago because I've been in the coffee business most of my life, and her husband and family have. And when she came out to New York to do a coffee show, it was shortly after 9/11, and she said, hey Bob, I'd love to go and and I right away said let's go, and I gave her a great tour, a personal hands-on experience tour when they were still under mass construction down there, and every time I go down there, I still take more heartaches out of there and more education. And so did Bonnie. And I was happy enough to have her put me in one of her books. And, that's what I did. I went down and spent the first 4 days in and out of the basements of the towers. I wasn't trained to do it. I'm not trying to pat myself on the back. I just felt it was my patriotic duty to do that. And, I just wanted to help people. And I wound up doing that. And I wound up getting some pretty decent health issues because of it. But you know what? You always have to try to extend a hand. And that's what I felt I had a burning desire inside of me that I had to do what I had to do to help my fellow man and woman. And that's what I did.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it goes so far beyond that. And I think that's a great theme of life, right? To reach out, help others any way that we can. Take what you have and use it for the good of others and humanity. And, Bonnie, you're always such a shining light, and you are constantly doing that as you're speaking and your book and all that you talked about. I just love that. And you're such a bright light in people's life every day.
Ah, thank you so much. I'm going to be honest and say that can also be to your detriment. Um, when I'm not taking good care of myself, when I'm overcommitting, when I get such a rush, a high, if you will, from seeing other people smile. And even on walks in nature by myself, where I'm listening to the silence, it's so wonderful. I will not let anyone pass by me. I don't care if it's a two-legged person or a four-legged little doggy. I notice them. I smile. I'm kind. Um, I'm learning at this stage in my life to smile, be kind, and give myself that same love. If I don't take care of myself first, I can't continue to be the light for others. Bobby, you mentioned about gut health. Yes, it's so important what we eat, but it's also important what we think, how we act, how we behave. And oh my gosh, it's just all connected. But I realize that it is okay now to take care of myself too, just like I take care of others. And so, thank you for being that positive light in my life, Russ. You walk into the room and you own it. But isn't that our right as a human being to walk in and own it and shine a light for
That's right.
others?
Well,
So,
that's just it.
that's
Shining.
the
Yeah.
goal.
Hey, did
And,
you ever just look on, I'm sorry. Did you ever just
no,
look on Facebook and see all the positive things that people say? Those are the things you should take. My niece Dawn is also like Bonnie. She's a personal coach and stuff. And the things that I've learned and taken from her and my wife, it's really made my life so much better. Good in, bad out. That type of a scenario.
yeah,
And getting to know Russ more and more, I've gotten a little bit of knowledge of your health issues, of what you've challenged, and you still got that smile on your face. And
Yes.
I'm getting to know, Dr. Scott, and I love your title there, motivational listener.
yeah,
That's great. And that's the way people should be. I mean, look at what's going on in the world right now.
right.
These kids are being taught so much negative stuff. They don't, they
Mhm.
don't get the facts. And that's a sad, sad, sad thing. It really is.
Yeah, it is. Well, and when you have the right attitude, Bobby, that's when you do things like you did. Give us a little more information when you saw the first tower go down and you knew that there were problems and they needed help. You launched in. Give everybody just a quick scenario. You went driving, you picked up some water. Take it from there.
Okay, well, I know you said it's a half hour, so I'm trying to keep it short because we went on last time. I did. I was showering. My wife said, "Look what's going on the television." I was appalled at what I was seeing, and I was 40 years old at the time, and I just said to my wife, "I have to go." And I knew my kids were safe in school, and I wound up. I had a big SUV, and I went to some local supermarkets, and I said, "I'm going in," and they all donated. I was packed to the rafters with bottles of water and that type of stuff. And I wound up getting on what's called the Long Island Expressway in New York. It's a main artery into Manhattan. Any other route I would have taken, I would have never have made it. So it was my desire and my faith that I had to be there that day. And I wound up picking up two doctors that were trying to get in, and I notioned to them to come with me, and they did. And then a cop gave me one of his lights from off the top of his car, and we caravanned it right into Manhattan, went through the Midtown Tunnel, and as we made a left, the second tower collapsed, which was the most. I thought an atomic bomb went off because that wave of ash just came
Mm.
pouring down the streets at us and hitting our car. And I had to stop, and I just yelled to these two doctors, "Hold on!" And when it finally cleared, I dropped them off at City Hall. We hugged and wished each other the best of well-being. And I just spent most of my day that morning running up and down the street, handing these 1-gallon bottles out to everybody so they could wash their face off. Everybody was completely covered in ash. And then when I was finally finished with that, I had a lot of disposable cameras in my car as we were at the U.S. Open the week before that. They were giving out digital cameras. So I loaded my pockets up with the digital cameras, running down the street, and I ran into the biggest, baldest cop you could ever imagine. This guy's ears had muscles. And I said, what can we do? And he said, if you're not prepared to die, you better get the heck out of here. And I said, let's rock and roll. And I grabbed the water tower with one of the other firemen. We proceeded to go into the pit. And this was after I was able to reach my wife quickly and assure her that I was okay. And then I lost phone communication. And that's what we did. We spent most of the next 4 days looking for, unfortunately, victims where everybody was gone, and inhaling all that stuff. I knew I was sick right away because I started to throw up like black foam and stuff. And on the night of day 3, I volunteered with the deputy commissioner of the police department to go 5 floors underground because we heard there was a parking lot there. Maybe people are alive. And when we got down on the way down, we wound up catching 2 guys robbing a Torno jewelry store in the mall area. And it turned out he was an ex-corrections officer he was let go many years before that. And he used what they call a dupe, fake badge, or a copy of his old badge to get on the scene. And all they were down there doing was just breaking into the jewelry display cases and stealing watches at such a horrific time. And we wound up getting them put under arrest. Down the road, I had to go and testify, and that guy got 6 years in jail.
Wow.
And we proceeded to go back downstairs and look around, and we came into a parking lot where there was cars. And my first instinct was, let's turn on some lights, because all we have is flashlights. And as I approached each car, the windows were broken open, the lights were on, but they obviously died. When I finally made my way down to the end, there was 2 cars I was able to do that to. When we turned on the lights, behind us was a loading dock, and there was a Port Authority horse trailer there. And when we broke the doors open, it was loaded with rubber boots and oxygen tanks.
Wow.
And the police commissioner said to me, you should put this on your back because you're the biggest guy here. And we went proceeding, room to room, and you would make a certain indication with spray paint on the wall that it's been already investigated or checked, so no one else had to risk their life going in. And then I proceeded to climb under a collapsed ceiling where they held me by my ankles to see what was on the other side. Wow. And you had to write your name and social security number on your body parts in case you got killed. And of course, everybody was unfortunately dead on the other side of that. So we worked our way out, and then we worked our way back upstairs and got rid of the equipment and went back to doing whatever you had to do. There was never a minute to rest because the adrenaline was flowing like crazy. And I still need to say that what I did because I was proud to be a person that was willing to do it. But I cannot take anything away from the firemen, the police, the nurses, the doctors, the sanitation department, who are really the true first responders there and deserve it. And I was privileged enough to go down to Washington with a gentleman named John Field and Jon Stewart, the comedian, to help advocate to get 9/11's drug bill passed, which was part of my legacy. And I received accommodation from President Bush. And when I was with him, I looked at him and said, Mr. President, be okay if you and I exchange pins? And he was like, what? Because I'd be on it. And he took his American flag pin, put it on me, and I put my Twin Towers pin on him. And then I wanted to receive an accommodation also from the Senate, and different things like that. And my stuff is in the museum underground. Matter of fact, Russ, the last time I spoke, a week later, I gave a family that came in from Germany a personal tour down there, and they were overwhelmed. They were overwhelmed to see how nicely I got treated. We didn't have to wait on any lines. They just whisked us right in as a first responder, which is an honor and a privilege, to be there. And that's my story. Now,
Well, Bob, I just first of all, thank you for being willing to share the story and for stepping forward. I remember the show. So Jon Stewart was Comedy Central and had the Daily Show at the time. And I remember that episode right after the Towers when he came in and he said from the studio there, he used to look out at the Twin Towers, but now his view was the Statue of Liberty, and it was just it was a very emotional moment for him, and I just pray that people do not have to step forward like you did in horrific situations like this, but I do say that your story is inspirational and that everybody, I guarantee that everybody, every day, God puts in your way something that you can do to help somebody,
Yes.
whether it's opening the door for them or it's picking up a piece of trash off the street, or just sitting and listening to somebody who is going through some tragedy. I
Thank
guarantee,
you.
and your story is an inspiration for us to do what God is putting before us on this day.
Well, thank
Yes.
you. Hey, look what's going on in Israel. You hear fathers re-enlisting to go back to Israel just so that they can participate and be there with their children. I mean, this is what people need to do. Like you said, do the smallest thing. If you're online at a Starbucks or a Dunkin' Donuts and there's an elderly person behind you, buy their coffee. Don't let them know
Mhm.
and walk out. You don't have to, be notarized for doing something nice, because you know why? Your heart just like smiles when you do things like that. People,
That's right.
people like doing, and if more people would just be kind to each other and spend a little bit of a minute just trying to help your fellow man. Like after 9/11, I traveled on my own dime and my own time to go and see kids all over the country and be like you guys, try to motivate them and tell them what I did was stupid. You don't want to go jumping into buildings and stuff, but you can do whatever you can do in your life. Don't let anybody steal your dreams, and
Right.
so on and so forth. And it was great. I love doing things like that.
And you
Yeah.
see why now Bobby G had to be in my book of
Mhm.
inspirational stories. And when we were at Ground Zero, when we were going all over, they would say, Bobby, that come right in. I mean, Bobby, yes, you are such a humble, kind, heart-led man,
Thank you.
but you are a hero, my friend. You will always
Mm.
be the hero. Um, ah, you know what you said, Bobby and Scott, what you said is something I give to a lot of people that I firmly believe. Our greatest gift to others isn't our words or our insight, it's our presence.
Mhm.
Just show up, just be there. Bobby, you were there. You were there. And I am forever grateful. And I'm going to get this in too for your listeners. Go back and look at some of those Sopranos episodes because Bobby G was the wise guy.
Hey, how you doing?
Yeah, how you doing?
A wise guy in The Sopranos, and you also did L.A. Law too, didn't you, Bobby?
No, I did Law and Order and the
Law and
Whoopi
Order.
Whoopi Goldberg
There
show.
you go.
It was
Yeah.
fun. They had me on as a way of saying thank you. I didn't get any kind of Grammy or red carpet treatment, but they really, as individuals, treated me with such respect. And I got to meet and spend time with James Gandolfini, may he rest in peace. With all the people, they treated me like I was the star, which was phenomenal.
Hmm.
That
Well,
is
you
great.
are.
That's great. Well, hey, you two, we have to wrap things up. I have to be the responsible host. So we are going to start with ladies first again. Bonnie, give everybody your gold nugget, what you want to remember from our discussion today, and then how do they get in touch with you?
Just be kind
Mm.
with yourself and others. As Scott mentioned, it is, and Bobby did as well, it is those little acts of kindness that can create that ripple effect. A mere smile or a hug. We never know if that is the only smile or hug that individual is receiving that day, and it can change a life forever. I am going to reread my motto of our greatest gift to others isn't our words or our insight, it's our presence. Just show up.
Beautiful.
Wow, that's amazing. How do people get in touch with you?
Oh my goodness. They can get in touch with me at bonnie@bonniemiletto.com, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, or just go out to your balcony, yell bonbon. I'll hear you.
I love bonbons.
I love that. I love that. Is so good. All right, Bobby G, you're up next.
All right. Just to take from my niece to be, Dawn, we had a dinner one night and she said, all right, I want to know what everybody's rose was for today. You're positive and you're negative. And when we all talked about it, what was what was my good thing for today? And what was my negative thing? It was more like everybody just had a good rose day. No one had a negative day because we spoke about it. And, I watch a lot of TV, and this one woman comes on. She's an elderly woman. She goes, you know what? It's just so nice to be kind. And my way of making it people smile is just bring them a piece of pie. And she walks around and she brings neighbors pies. You know what? Bring a pie to somebody, or just stop and respect people. Just take a moment to treat people the way you want to be treated. And I'm telling you, your life will be so much better.
Yeah, no kidding, no
Fabulous.
kidding. Best way to get in touch with you, Bobby?
Well, you can always email me at bobbyg.com. Bobby G Coffee, BOBBYG, the word coffee, COFFEE at gmail.com.
That is great. And that stuff is all appearing in the comments and the show notes. It's also ticking below us right now with that information. And you know what? Everybody needs to get in touch with Bonnie and Bobby today because they are two amazing people that are going to be a bright light in your life. And you know, if the only thing we can do for each other is lift each other up and encourage each other, why not? Why not do it? Why not make it a better day for everybody around us? And you know what? Every time I encourage somebody, I get that right back. I get that encouragement. It makes me feel good. So I want to encourage everybody to do that today. And the two of you, thank you so much. We're going to send you to the green room, say goodbye, but hang tight. We're going to
chips in there.
in just a minute.
Coffee.
Okay.
God bless everybody.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, wow. I tell you, we needed a longer show for that one for sure. But today, that's going to have to do. So you guys are going to have to get in touch with Bonnie and Bobby G, who will probably magically appear on another show in the future.
I will just say is concentrated inspiration today.
Yeah.
And for people that watched it either live and replay, share this with other folks. And
Yes.
you know, one of the I love Bonnie's closing statement. One of the things that I usually end talks with is the phrase, inspired by my mother, it's not about making money. It's about living a life that makes a difference.
Amen. And she's given a big thumbs up there in the green room. And that is so true. And yes, as Scott said, please share this out to people and tag your friends because this sits here on this platform, whenever you're watching it on LinkedIn, Facebook, or YouTube forever. Also, please join our YouTube community. Go there, subscribe today, because not only do you get this amazing episode with Bonnie and Bobby G, but you also get all the other amazing guests. And it's right there,
wait.
the experience video.
There's more.
Yeah, you just need to, we make it simple for you to get there. So yes, appreciate you so much, Scott, too, because Wednesdays are always a highlight to my week. You are such an amazing friend and inspire me constantly to be better. And thank you.
Well, thank you, Russ. I'm just grateful that we only live about 15 minutes apart so that a couple of times a year we can actually get together face to face.
There you go.
It's always an honor just to hang out with you. Last time I think was in your backyard. Which
it was, and I almost came by. I had almost a minute the other day to drive through Independence, but at the last second, I got a medical thing that I had to run and take care of.
We will do it.
Today I'll wave at you because I'll be going by the highway by Independence exit on the way to Lincoln City today. So I'll wave at you on the way out there. But
well, what is in Lincoln City? What are you headed to? And by the way, for people who don't know, Lincoln City is a wonderful city right on the Oregon coast.
Right. Yes. And I'm actually working for a client over there today. So it's going to be great. And listen, I want to remind everybody today to make sure again and share this out. Join us on YouTube in our community. And, you know, we put all that information up there. It is again, the experience.video, but also every Wednesday, 7 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time, we are here on the Experience Live with Russ and Scott. And before this, we're backstage, the Experience backstage on Instagram only for just before the show, prepping at 6:30 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time. So please join us on that. It's so much fun.
And that's with the ever inspirational.
Yeah. Super. So Scott, last word.
Well, I'll just say that this Friday is the third Friday of the month, which means it's the Global Tea Break International Networking. And unfortunately for me, the co-host, Alan Hennessy, has to be in Nice, France. And so he won't be able to attend. So we've got Jim Fuse as my co-host for the virtual tea break And so go to globalteabreak.com. You can register. That's 7 a.m. Pacific time and 10 a.m. there on the East Coast. Track your time zones, but it's just a wonderful community and very inspirational, very supportive. Globalteabreak.com.
I love it. I've been part of it since I think the second meeting.
Right at the beginning, Russ.
Right at the very beginning. Love it. Love that group all over the world. So love you guys. Thank you for joining us today. We're going to say goodbye for today, but until we see you next week at 7 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time, we first want to remember to enjoy life and enjoy the
experience.
Thanks for tuning in to The Experience live with Russ and Scott. If you enjoyed today's show, please share it with others, post about it on social media, or subscribe on YouTube. See you next time.